Ben, thanks a lot. There's quite a number of questions that Kenyans are asking online, and actually there are a number of informed Kenyans who are actually talking about what could have gone wrong, if anything went wrong at all. Maxwell Omondi is saying, in case you didn't know what logs are, a good hacker never leaves back doors unless he was well, not a supporter, but was forced to hack. Not quite sure that is a very objective tweet, but of course, you know, you can tell what is going on. And of course, the IEBC has come out to caution a number of online users about the fake news. They're saying we have not announced any plans to declare the winner of the presidential election tonight. Ignore all the circulating SMSs. We also have a number of others. If I might just browse through some of them, Kenya West is saying IEBC has 7 days. The results must be verified with forms before declaration. So if the system was attacked, it will be known. Let it flow. And of course, we've got more here. The IEBC a few hours ago just tweeted, in fact, it was about 8:43 p.m. They said our election management system is secure. We confirmed that there were no interferences before, during, and after the polling exercise. But I would like to bring in my guests. Steve, from your point of view, where is your gut feeling?
I think, and I believe I speak for majority of Kenyans. I mean, for us, we came out in large numbers. For us, this is a lot of jargon that majority of us don't understand. So I think it's prudent for IEBC to actually just come out, explain how secure the system is, be able to address the issues raised by Raila Odinga conclusively, because at the end of the day, we would like a legitimate leadership that can be able to push this country forward and not just blame game like the past 5 years. So for me, I think the law is very clear on how the results need to come out, or what the process needs to be done. But I think IEBC needs to stop being reactive. They're being reactive. They need to come out and explain conclusively, because it's not Raila's nature to just come out and accuse anything without concrete evidence. I mean, his past clearly proves that every time he has something to say, it comes to pass. So and I think IEBC needs to look at the history of Raila's declaration on issues he raises and be able to address this. And for us Kenyans, we believe that if this is compromised, then the credibility of the process will be in doubt, and the results, you know, can plunge this country into something else. But I believe we are waiting for the results. The law is very clear. They have 7 days to go, but I'm hoping they'll not be able to wait for that long, because the tension, the suspense, and the fact there's a lot of fake news going around, and the fact that, you know, lack of proper communication and periodic explanation, you know, the CEO should be able to bring in an expert from IEBC. Let them explain the whole process. Let them explain what these numbers mean to the Kenyan people, to put our minds at rest. A lot of us are really discussing, and social media is really big in this country. So a lot of issues are being discussed. And I think we want to go back to working. We want to go back to creating jobs. We want to go back and save our economy. We want our kids to go to have a better future. And I think we came out in large numbers to cement that future. And this
so
process
you already
needs to
talked
be
about
very
coming
clear.
out in large numbers, and just about how people would like to get back to their normal lives after elections. So the IEBC has a role to play in that. But Sylvanus, I would like to also pick your mind on this. Earlier, we were talking about how we can tell a genuine log from a fake one. And in the wake of fake news, you know, anything can happen. And not that we're saying that what was put out there earlier in the day could be fake, but, you know, you can't rule out exactly unless we can authenticate and say we know the source of these logs. You know, how exactly are we supposed to take this up? Do we take it up as genuine? Do we take it up with speculation?
Thank you, Doreen. Let me go back to my first statement. This one is an allegation, a very strong allegation.
It's a very, yes,
which is supposed to be given the due attention that it deserves. The issue of confirming whether these logs are authentic or not is the responsibility of IEBC. Why am I saying this? The law is very clear that electronic records are equally documents. And if you go to most of the laws in this country, it is normally very clear that when you're generating any document within the process of, when you're generating any document during the process of business, you must make sure that it is stored within a predefined period in law. To be precise, Kenya Communication Amendment Act is very precise about some of these things. I expected the CEO for IEBC to come and tell us that we have a policy, a backup policy, which says that these important logs generated by our system, we normally back them up after every predefined interval. And we can demonstrate that we actually normally does this. Why am I bringing all this thing? The question that we are trying to address here is the integrity of the entire system. It is always important to make sure that sometimes we flash back. What do I mean by flashing back? If you look at 2013.
Right. We had a runtime era.
We had three problems. Actually, if you look at it from the IT point of view, the system by then failed us in three different areas. One, we had issues with integrity. And if you can remember, the chairman of IEBC by then, Isaac Hassan, came out to the public and said that the system was multiplying spoiled roads by 8, which brought some integrity challenges. Then on the same note, you realize that during that particular time, there was a tussle about a company that was hosting TNA by then and IEBC.
Right.
And the issue of confidentiality was also raised on that particular point. Then another component that failed at that particular time was the component of availability. The system worked for a very short period, then all of a sudden it is stalled. We are lucky this time that the two components are not in question. That is confidentiality and the issue of availability.
Yeah.
What we are trying to address here is the issue of integrity. And the only way we can get out of it is by making sure that the CEO for IEBC is not dragged into politics.
Right.
Because what I heard him saying in the press is that actually they have not received any official communication from NASA. He's equally just responding in the press, not knowing that he's dealing with a politician. What will come out of it might be very tricky at the end of the day. So I just request that
impact the public.
Yes, I request that he should handle himself with a lot of confidence, because in my own view, the best person who could have responded to this is the chairman himself, because his name is appearing in the alleged logs which have been presented by NASA.
Right.
So if he comes and confirms to us, yes, I tried to log in, I failed, or I never tried to log in, then it brings some level of authenticity.
Yeah,
but I
someone
expect
could have
dialogue.
tried to access his account unethically.
But I expect dialogue from all the stakeholders, so that Kenyans can become, then restore their confidence.
Hannington, you have been involved in building systems, critical systems in this country. I understand you were part of the team that built the 2010 referendum system that was used for the referendum. Is it?
I built the one that was used for 2013 elections, which was used by 3 media houses.
Yes.
And actually, I wanted to take kind of a journey between 2010, 2013, and 2017 so that we can put some things in perspective here.
Right.
I think when we did the referendum in 2010, there was so much excitement and appreciation of what ICT systems can do and the capabilities of Kenyans, and that was celebrated across the region. The results were streaming in quite fast and furious, and people were able to appreciate what an election management system could do.
Right.
Then come 2013, all hopes were more kind of dashed because of what people saw happening in 2010 was not replicated in 2013 results. Unlike the 2010 results, which were streaming in quite steadily and randomly, as was expected, in 2013, these results were coming kind of periodically, like it was programmed to deliver results after certain hours, which meant something could have been happening between.
Which is the same thing we're seeing around now.
Yes, so I'm coming to the 2017. So the 2013 results, I mean, the portal was, at the end of the day, done away with, and people went into other systems to get the results done. Now, come 2017, and here there's the claim of hacking. And just to begin with, when the results started coming in, they came in kind of in a staggered manner. It wasn't streaming, and streaming is what we expect. And streaming is where results come in randomly as they are released or sent from whatever points they're coming from. And they hit the servers and reflect on various systems in a random and kind of a consistent manner. These have been coming after periodic intervals, and they have not been I think you've seen other information.
So when you say periodic intervals, and you're comparing this to the 2013 system?
No, 2010.
2010 system, right? So you're seeing the same pattern with the two different systems.
Yes.
And the question I would ask is this random information or receiving of results, is it programmed, is it planned, or is it unethical?
What I would say it is, it seems to be having interference or input of somebody else, which is what is bringing the question of whether the system was hacked or not hacked. Because if it was supposed to flow the way it I believe, was designed, these results would have been coming steadily, randomly, and without any prediction on when we are going to expect to see them.
All right.
So
and the system that we had in 2013 was actually also having, I'm sure you remember the runtime error that we had, and they said that the reason was partly because it was receiving more information that had been programmed for it to receive, if I remember correctly. With this system that we are using for the 2017 elections, how many queries can it actually respond to per second, or can it accommodate per second? Yeah,
that's a good question, because that's some of the things which have been going on in the social media, and probably we need to explain a bit of them so that people don't get...
in simple language, how would you explain it to Kenyans? Because what we understand is that the current database they're using can only take in about 8,000 queries. What does this even mean?
Well, from the log, we are seeing that the IEBC is using a Microsoft SQL Server 2008 R2 version, and it's running a Windows 7 operating system. Now, for a Microsoft SQL Server, it can take a lot of hits before you experience any sort of delay. In fact, you are talking of about 40,000 polling stations, which actually are not even sending all that result at once. They'll probably be staggered through a 12-hour period. You should not experience any sort of delay. You should not experience any sort of drag or anything, because an SQL server, Microsoft SQL Server, can take probably up to 8,000 hits per second.
Right.
And we don't expect that these results would come on in like a minute or two.
All right, so with what you just said, how does it tie into the whole being hosted by Amazon? If I might bring Fred into this conversation, just to put things into perspective, do you think that the delays are being caused by the server, or what can we make out of this?
Okay, thank you, Joy. I think one of the main reasons why there may be some delay, technically speaking, because I still don't have those facts.
Yeah.
It might be the issues of network latency, as we already witnessed that availability of 3G, 4G is...
All right. Fred, I think there's a bit of a problem with your microphone. Let's try to fix that and come back. Ben, I'm sure you can almost clearly get the picture of what my digital forensic experts on this side of the studio are saying about the systems. Probably you have more of a conversation there, but we will return to them in just a short while.